The sky over the small human colony shimmered with pale light as the twin moons rose. In the quiet shadow of the forest near the edge of the settlement, a huge shape moved silently. Ravakar, the alien dragon, crouched low among the broken trees and rocks, watching. His scales glimmered faintly under the moonlight, dark as smoke, yet his eyes held a strange glow of curiosity. For months he had hidden, observing the humans from afar. He had seen them build, laugh, argue and fight. He had seen them explore the stars, yet he had never interfered. His kind was feared across the galaxy, known as lethal hunters, but Ravakar had no desire to hurt anyone. Still, the humans would not understand. That morning something unusual caught his attention. From a small clearing near the forest edge came soft sobs, almost lost in the quiet hum of the colony. Ravakar's ears twitched. Humans often cried, but something about this sound made him pause. He moved closer, careful to stay hidden. There, sitting alone on a rock, was a tiny human girl. She could not have been more than 10 years old. Her hair was tied in a messy braid, and her eyes glistened with tears. She rocked slightly back and forth, hugging her knees. For the first time in years, Ravakar felt a strange stirring inside him. He didn't understand it, but he knew he could not just watch silently. He shifted his enormous wings slightly, making sure they made no sound. He had been careful to remain unseen, but the girl's cry had drawn him closer than he had intended. He saw her face, pale and trembling, and he remembered his own loneliness after his starship had crashed on this moon. No one had come to help him, and he had survived in silence. This human child, so small and fragile, was alone now, and he could not ignore it. Ravakar thought of turning away, of disappearing into the shadows, but he could not. His instincts urged him to step forward, to see if she was hurt, or if she needed help. He watched her wipe her eyes with the back of her small hand. Her sobs quieted as she whispered something to herself. He leaned closer, keeping his massive body low, careful not to scare her. The girl looked up suddenly, sensing a presence. Her wide eyes met his glowing amber gaze. For a moment she froze, fear and awe flashing across her face. She had heard the stories of alien dragons, of creatures that could crush entire villages, and now one was staring at her. But instead of attacking, Ravakar lowered his massive head, tilting it slightly, almost bowing. There was no roar, no threat, only the quiet rumble of his breathing. Her small voice broke the silence. "Are you?" she stammered. Her lips trembled, but she did not run. Ravakar hesitated. Humans were unpredictable, and one wrong move could cause panic. He studied her, noting the courage in her eyes despite the fear. Slowly he spoke, using the human language he had learned by listening from a distance. His voice was low, deep and soft, almost like wind through the trees. "I am Ravakar. Why are you crying, small one?" The girl blinked, surprised that he could speak. She had not expected that. Her voice shook as she replied, I got lost. My family's rover, it broke, and I don't know how to get home." Her words were small, but the worry in them was clear. Ravakar's massive head lowered a little more. He had seen humans in trouble before, but no one had ever trusted him enough to speak to him directly. His instincts told him to help, but he also knew danger could follow. For a moment, Ravakar considered leaving. Humans would see him and likely call the colony patrol. He would have to flee and risk being hunted. But the girl's tears and her small, trembling voice anchored him. He could not abandon her. His heart, or what humans might call a heart, urged him to stay. Slowly he extended one massive claw, careful to keep it on the ground. "Come, I will guide you. Stay close." The girl hesitated, her fear warring with the trust growing inside her. She glanced around the clearing, then back at him. Something in his calm, gentle posture convinced her. She nodded slightly and took a tentative step forward. Ravakar watched, ensuring she kept her balance on the uneven ground. He moved slowly so as not to startle her, and she matched his pace, small and careful. As they walked through the forest, Ravakar noticed the faint details of the world around them. The sound of distant water, the rustle of small creatures in the underbrush, and the way the colony lights glimmered faintly in the distance. The girl, whose name he learned was Elira, began to speak softly, asking questions about him. "Are you really a dragon? Do you eat people?" Her curiosity outweighed her fear. Ravakar chuckled softly, a low rumble that shook the nearby leaves. "No, I do not eat humans. I have lived alone too long. You are small but brave." Elira smiled faintly, wiping the last of her tears away. She walked closer to him, gaining courage with each step. Ravakar felt an unfamiliar warmth at her trust. He had been alone for so long, unseen and feared, yet this tiny human looked at him without hate. He realized that perhaps humans could be different from the stories he had heard. Suddenly, a faint sound reached their ears, a soft crackle like someone moving through the underbrush. Ravakar froze, his massive body tensing. He instinctively positioned himself in front of Alira, wings slightly raised to shield her. She looked at him wide-eyed. "Is it dangerous?" she whispered. Ravakar shook his head slowly. "I do not know yet. Stay close to me." His eyes scanned the dark forest, alert to every movement. The sound grew closer, but Ravakar could not yet tell if it was friend or foe. The girl held his claw lightly, trusting him completely. In that quiet moment, hidden in the shadows of the forest, something changed. The human girl, lost and frightened, had found a protector unlike any she had ever imagined. And Ravakar, the lethal alien dragon who had watched from silence for so long, had found something he never expected. Someone who needed him and who might not run away in fear. The stars above shimmered as they paused for a moment in the clearing. The forest was silent again, and the bond between dragon and girl had begun, fragile but real. Ravakar's eyes reflected the soft light of the moons, and he realized that for the first time, he did not want to hide. He wanted to stay. The forest around them seemed to hold its breath, waiting. The silent watcher had become a silent guardian, and the journey ahead, filled with unknown dangers and discoveries, was only just beginning. Alira clutched Ravakar's claw tightly as they moved slowly through the forest. The trees loomed above them, their leaves whispering in the cool night wind. She could feel the warmth of his massive body behind her, steady and calm. For a moment she forgot her fear. The dragon's presence was strange but comforting. She had never imagined that a creature so large and powerful could seem gentle, yet here he was, watching over her. Ravakar noticed the way her small hand trembled on his claw. He paused, lowering his massive head so his glowing amber eyes were level with hers. "Do not fear, small one," he said softly. His voice was like a quiet thunder, deep but gentle. "I will not harm you. I only wish to help." Alira blinked. "But dragons are dangerous," she whispered. Her voice was barely audible. "People say they destroy everything." Ravakar shook his head slowly. "Stories are made by fear," he said. "Not all dragons are the same. I am different. I do not seek to destroy. I have been alone for a long time. Alone like you feel now." The girl tilted her head, curiosity overcoming her worry. "Alone?" she asked. You've been all by yourself?" "Yes," Ravakar replied. "I crashed on this world months ago. I watched the humans, from afar. I learned your language, your ways. But I did not approach. Fear kept me hidden." Alira's lips pressed together. I was lost. My family's rover broke. I didn't know how to get back." She looked down at her feet, ashamed. "I thought, maybe no one would find me." Ravakar's gaze softened. "You are brave," he said. "Most humans would cry alone and give up. But you kept moving. You survived until I found you." She blinked up at him. His words were strange but kind. For the first time since she had become lost, she felt hope. Will you take me home?" she asked quietly. Ravakar nodded, careful not to move too quickly. "Yes, but you must stay close to me. Humans fear my kind. If they see me before I explain, they may not understand." Alira took a deep breath. "I trust you," she said simply. The words made Ravakar's chest tighten in a feeling he could not name. He had never heard a human say that to him before. He had always been feared, avoided, or hunted. But this small girl, she trusted him. They moved through the forest in silence for a while, broken only by the soft crunch of leaves beneath Alira's feet. Ravakar's claws pressed lightly into the soft earth, careful not to disturb the ground too much. He could hear her small breaths, steadying herself with each step. After a few minutes, Alira spoke again. "Why do you speak our language? Did you learn it by watching us?" "Yes," Ravakar replied. "I listened to your words from far away. I learned how to speak them. I wished to understand humans before I approached." Do you always hide?" Alira asked. "Even if you see someone crying?" Ravakar hesitated. He had never spoken of his loneliness. "Yes," he admitted. "I hid because of fear. Fear of humans. Fear of being hunted. But now, I see you and I cannot leave you alone." Alira looked at him with wide eyes. You care?" Ravakar lowered his head slowly, careful not to scare her. "I do. You are small. You are fragile. But you are strong in spirit. I cannot ignore that." The girl's lips curled into a small smile, and for the first time her tears did not fall. She felt lighter, as if the presence of the dragon lifted some invisible weight. I'm glad you found me," she whispered. Ravakar continued to guide her through the forest. He had never walked with a human before. The trust she placed in him was unusual, but it made him feel connected. Every step they took together was careful. He made sure the branches did not scratch her face, that the rocks did not trip her, and that her small hands had something to hold on to if she faltered. As they walked, Elira asked more questions. "Do you eat humans? Or animals?" she asked cautiously. "No," Ravakar replied. "I survive on plants and water. I do not hunt. My kind is known for hunting, but I do not follow that path." Elira nodded. I believe you," she said simply. She began to feel safer. She even began to notice small things about the forest, the glowing mushrooms along the path, the soft sounds of insects, and the rustle of small animals in the underbrush. She realized that being lost was frightening, but being with Ravakar made it less so. Suddenly, a faint noise came from the shadows, a soft scraping sound like metal against stone. Ravakar froze, his massive body tensing. He moved in front of Elira, spreading his wings slightly to shield her. "Stay close," he whispered. Elira's hand found his claw again. "Is it a monster?" she asked. Ravakar tilted his head, listening carefully. "I do not know," he said. "But we will face it together." From the shadows emerged a small mechanical figure. Its metal body reflected the faint moonlight. Ravakar stepped back slightly, observing it. Elira gasped softly. "It's a robot," she said. The robot, damaged and sparking, scanned them briefly. Its voice crackled. "System malfunction. Assistance required." Elira's eyes widened. Can I help it?" Ravakar nodded. "Yes. You are clever. Your hands are small and quick. You can fix small things humans cannot." Elira knelt beside the robot and carefully adjusted a loose wire, using a small tool she had in her pocket. Sparks flew, but she remained calm. The robot beeped and powered on fully. It tilted its head, scanning Ravakar, then Elira. "Threat, neutral. Human child, recognized." Ravakar's massive eyes widened slightly. He had never seen a human interact with a machine like this so naturally. He realized humans were more resourceful than he had thought. The robot moved a few steps forward. "Guidance requested. Destination, human settlement." Elira smiled. "See? We're going the right way." Ravakar's heart, or whatever humans would call it, felt lighter. He had not known that companionship could feel this way. He realized that protecting this small girl was not just about safety. It was about connection, trust, and a bond he had never expected. The forest around them was still dark and quiet, but together they felt a little less alone. Ravakar, the lethal alien dragon, and Elira, the small human girl, began a journey that neither of them would ever forget. The stars above glimmered faintly as they moved, the soft light of the moons guiding them. For the first time in months, Ravakar did not feel fear. He felt purpose. And for Elira, hope. The forest grew thicker as Ravakar guided Elira and the small robot deeper into the shadows of the trees. The light from the moons barely reached the ground, casting long, trembling shapes that made the forest seem alive. Elira walked close to Ravakar, her small hand brushing against his smooth, dark scales. She had begun to trust him completely, and the fear she had felt earlier was fading. Do you live in the forest?" she asked softly, glancing up at him. Ravakar shook his massive head. "No. I have nowhere to live here. I only stay hidden. Humans would not understand if they saw me." Elira frowned. "But, you help me. That is kind. Don't humans ever help strangers?" Ravakar thought about that. He had seen humans help each other in many ways, but he had also seen fear and anger. "Some do," he said finally. "Some do not. You are different. Brave and kind. That is why I help you." Elira smiled faintly, the first real smile since she had gotten lost. She walked closer to the robot, Scout 9, who followed behind Ravakar. "Do you help others too?" she asked, pointing to the robot. Scout 9 beeped. "I am programmed to assist humans. Assistance in progress." Elira nodded, glancing at Ravakar. "See? We all help each other." The forest seemed to grow quieter for a moment, and Ravakar's senses heightened. He could hear the faint rustle of leaves and the distant call of an unknown creature. The sound was not threatening, but it reminded him that this world, though beautiful, held many dangers. He moved carefully, scanning the surroundings. Suddenly, a flash of movement caught his eye. A small creature darted between the trees, knocking over a loose branch. Ravakar lowered his massive head instinctively, protecting Elira. "Stay behind me," he whispered. Elira's hand found his claw, squeezing it gently. "It's okay," she said softly. "It's small. It can't hurt us." Ravakar studied the creature. It was not dangerous. It was a small animal native to the forest, no bigger than Elira's knee. He relaxed slightly and allowed her to step forward. As they continued walking, Scout 9 beeped and paused. "Unidentified object ahead. Assistance may be required." Elira ran a few steps ahead and gasped. A large metallic form lay tangled in the underbrush, wires sparking and lights flickering. "It's broken," she said. Ravakar crouched low to see. "It appears damaged," he said. "Be careful." Elira approached it carefully. "I can fix it," she said. She knelt beside the machine and began examining the tangled wires. Ravakar watched silently, amazed at how calmly she worked. She was small, but her hands moved with skill and confidence. After a few tense minutes, she managed to reattach a wire and tighten a loose panel. Sparks flew briefly, then the robot's eyes flickered on fully. "System restored. Function operational," it said in a mechanical voice. Elira smiled. "See? I told you I could help." She looked up at Ravakar. "You weren't wrong about me." Ravakar tilted his massive head, surprised at her skill. "You are clever, small one. Most humans your age could not do that." The robot beeped again. "Threat level, none. Human child recognized. Assistance accepted." Elira laughed softly. "See? You're okay too," she said, patting the robot gently. Ravakar felt an unusual warmth in his chest. He had spent so long alone, so long hiding, that he had forgotten how it felt to witness kindness, skill and courage together. This small human had not only survived alone but had saved another life. Scout 9 scanned the area again. "Destination, human settlement. Guidance requested." Elira nodded. "We're almost there, aren't we?" Ravakar studied the faint lights in the distance. The colony was visible through the trees, tiny dots of orange and white flickering in the night. "Yes," he said. "But humans may fear me if they see me first. We must be careful." Elira's eyes sparkled with determination. "I trust you," she said again. "We'll be fine." Ravakar lowered his head, feeling a strange pride in her trust. For so long he had hidden from humans, watching silently. Now, one small human child had shown him something he had never expected: friendship. As they approached a small hill overlooking the colony, Ravakar paused. The settlement lay below, lights flickering, rovers moving slowly across the terrain. The forest around them was quiet, almost holding its breath. Ravakar's massive body tensed. If humans saw him before understanding him, they would panic. Elira stepped forward, peering down at the lights. "That's my home," she said softly. "That's where my parents are." Ravakar's gaze softened. "We will go down carefully," he said. "Do not run ahead." They began to descend the hill, moving slowly through the shadows. Ravakar's massive claws pressed lightly against the earth, ensuring no sudden noises betrayed their presence. Elira stayed close, holding onto him lightly. Scout 9 moved behind, scanning for any danger. Suddenly, a faint glow appeared among the trees. Ravakar froze. He could feel the tension in the air. Humans were approaching. He moved instinctively in front of Elira, spreading his wings slightly to shield her. Elira reached out, placing her small hand on his claw. "It's okay," she whispered. "They're my family. They'll understand." Ravakar hesitated. He had never been seen by humans up close. Fear and caution warred inside him. But the girl's calm voice and unwavering trust gave him courage. Slowly he stepped forward, keeping his massive body low so as not to scare anyone. The forest around them seemed to hold its breath. The silent watcher had become a protector, moving carefully through the shadows to bring the lost child home. For Ravakar, the journey had revealed something new: the power of trust and the strange, bright hope that came from helping another being. Elira glanced up at him, smiling faintly. "Thank you for not leaving me," she said. Ravakar's glowing eyes softened. "I would never leave you," he said. "Not now. Not ever." Together, dragon, girl, and robot moved toward the lights of the colony, each step bringing them closer to safety, and closer to a bond that neither human nor alien could have predicted. The colony lights grew brighter as Ravakar, Elira, and Scout 9 moved closer. The forest began to thin, and the open space ahead revealed the settlement clearly. Homes built of metal and glass glimmered in the moonlight. Rovers moved slowly along the paths, their lights cutting through the darkness. Ravakar stopped at the edge of the clearing, his massive body blocking the girl from view. I cannot go further, he said softly. His voice rumbled like distant thunder. Humans may not understand me. They may panic. Elira stepped forward, her small hand reaching for his claw. They will understand, she said firmly. You help me. That matters more than fear. I want them to know the truth. Ravakar hesitated, uncertainty in his glowing eyes. He had lived for months hiding from humans. Fear of their reaction had kept him silent, alone. But the child's words, filled with courage and trust, made something shift inside him. Slowly he nodded. Very well, he said. We will be seen, together. Elira took a deep breath and stepped out from behind him. Mom? Dad, she called, her voice trembling but clear. I'm here. A pair of humans came running, their faces etched with worry. Elira's parents stopped short when they saw the massive form behind their daughter. Ravakar lowered his head slightly, trying to appear calm and non-threatening. The parents froze, fear mixing with disbelief. Stay back, her father shouted instinctively. What is that? Elira ran forward, placing herself between her parents and Ravakar. It's okay, she said firmly. It's not dangerous. He helped me. He saved me. Ravakar's eyes softened as he watched her speak. He kept his head low, wings partially folded, showing no aggression. His deep, quiet voice rumbled again. I mean no harm. I only guided the child home. Her mother stepped closer, still cautious. He talks, she asked, astonished. Yes, Ravakar replied. I am Ravakar. I have watched, but I did not interfere until now. I wished only to protect the child. The parents exchanged a glance, fear still present but mixed with disbelief. They saw the calm in Ravakar's stance, the way he did not move to attack or intimidate. Slowly, they began to understand that this creature was different from what they had imagined. Scout 9 beeped from behind, scanning the area. No threats detected. Human child safely returned. Assistance confirmed. Elira smiled, tugging at her father's hand. See? He's not dangerous. He's kind. Her father took a cautious step forward. He helped you. Yes, she said. He didn't have to, but he did. Please, don't be afraid of him. Ravakar lowered his head even more, a gesture of respect. I understand fear, he said softly. But I have no desire to harm. Only to protect. The parents studied him closely. They saw the gentle tilt of his massive head, the soft rumble of his voice, and the way he had shielded their daughter from the forest dangers. Slowly their fear began to lessen. Elira's mother reached out, trembling slightly. We should bring him inside. At least let us talk, understand who he is. Ravakar hesitated. Approaching humans had always been dangerous, but the girl's trust gave him courage. He moved carefully, keeping his massive claws away from any structures. The parents guided him gently toward a clearing near the colony center. Other humans began to notice, stopping in their tracks. Some gasped, others pointed, and a few whispered in awe. Ravakar kept his movements slow and non-threatening, showing that he came in peace. Elira ran ahead, explaining to everyone. He's not dangerous. He's helping us. He saved me in the forest. The colony commander, a tall human with a serious face, arrived with a small group. He studied Ravakar carefully, his hand resting near his communicator. Who, or what is this? He asked, voice cautious but calm. Elira stepped forward bravely. This is Ravakar. He saved me when I got lost. He guided me safely back. He doesn't want to hurt anyone. Ravakar's eyes met the commander's. I am alone, he said quietly. I came here to survive. I have no enemies. I wish only to help, not to harm. The commander lowered his hand slightly, studying the dragon closely. He saw no weapons, no aggression, only a massive creature showing patience and calm. Slowly he nodded. We'll hear you out, he said. But you must understand, humans are cautious. We need to ensure safety. Ravakar inclined his head. I understand. I only wish to live, and protect those I can. Elira's parents stepped forward, placing themselves between Ravakar and the other humans. He saved our daughter, her father said firmly. That is proof enough. Let us listen, not judge. The commander studied the small girl, then the dragon. He could see the trust in her eyes, the calm determination in Ravakar's. Slowly he motioned for the others to step back. Very well, he said. We will learn more. But any sudden move will be met with caution. Elira beamed, feeling proud that she had convinced them. She stepped close to Ravakar and held his claw lightly. See? I told you, they can understand. Ravakar's eyes glimmered softly. For months he had hidden from humans, afraid of their reactions. But now, standing in the open, surrounded by people who were willing to listen, he felt something he had not felt in a long time: hope. The robot, Scout 9, moved behind him and scanned the area. Situation stable. Human child safe. Cooperation possible. Elira's parents guided her closer to them, still cautious but smiling. Thank you, her mother said softly, glancing at Ravakar. Thank you for saving her. Ravakar inclined his massive head again. It is my honor, he said quietly. The forest behind them seemed calmer now, the night less threatening. Ravakar had stepped out of the shadows, showing himself to humans for the first time. The child he had saved stood by his side, proud and unafraid. And for the first time in months he realized that being seen did not always mean danger. It could mean connection, trust, and a chance to belong. The stars above twinkled as Ravakar, Elira, her parents, and Scout 9 stood together, the forest and colony holding its breath. For the first time, the lethal alien dragon was no longer just a watcher in silence. He had chosen to be seen, and in doing so, he had found the beginning of something extraordinary. The night was quiet, yet filled with promise. Ravakar knew the journey was far from over, but with this small human girl beside him, he felt ready for whatever came next. The sun began to rise over the human colony, casting warm light across the metal and glass structures. Ravakar stood at the edge of the clearing, his massive form outlined against the soft glow. He had spent the night near Elira and her parents, carefully remaining calm and still as the humans observed him. Though many were cautious, no one had attacked, and that small kindness gave him hope. Elira ran to him as the first rays of sunlight touched the forest. "Good morning, Ravakar," she said cheerfully. Her smile was bright, and her small hand reached up to touch his scales. "Did you sleep okay?" Ravakar lowered his massive head so he could see her more clearly. "I slept," he rumbled softly. "But I slept lightly. I wanted to stay near you." Elira laughed softly. "You don't need to be afraid of me." She looked around at the humans who were beginning to gather, curious but cautious. "See? They are starting to trust you too." Ravakar's amber eyes scanned the humans. He had spent months hiding from them, believing that all would fear or attack him. But now, standing in the morning light, he realized that fear could be replaced by understanding. He felt a strange warmth in his chest as he looked at the girl who had changed everything. The colony commander approached, flanked by several aides. "Ravakar," he said carefully, his eyes studying the dragon closely. "We have listened to the reports. You saved a child and assisted a damaged robot. That is unusual for your kind." Ravakar inclined his head. "I only acted because she needed help. I do not seek conflict. I wish only to protect and survive." The commander nodded slowly. "We will need to ensure safety for everyone here. But I believe you can live among us if you are willing to follow some rules. You must show humans you are not a threat." Ravakar considered the offer. He had spent months alone, hidden in the shadows. The thought of living openly among humans was strange, even frightening, but Elira's hand on his claw reminded him that trust and courage could guide him. "I agree," he said finally. "I will follow the rules. I will not harm anyone." Elira clapped her small hands together. "See? I told you. They can understand you." Her parents smiled, relief in their eyes. "We are grateful," her father said. "You saved our daughter. We want you to be safe here too." Scout 9 beeped and whirred, moving around Ravakar carefully. Assessment: situation stable. Cooperation possible. Human and alien coexistence feasible. The humans began to clear a space for Ravakar near the edge of the colony, close to the forest. Engineers and builders worked quietly to create a shelter large enough for him, using reinforced metal and soft materials for comfort. Ravakar watched, fascinated by the care humans showed in constructing a home for someone so different. Elira ran ahead, helping direct the small team. "Over here. We need more space for him to stretch his wings," she called, her enthusiasm infectious. Ravakar tilted his massive head, feeling something he had not felt in a long time: hope. He had been alone for months, but now he saw the possibility of belonging, of being part of a community. As the shelter neared completion, the colony commander approached again. "Ravakar, if you agree to live among us, we will give you a chance to learn more about humans and you will help us in return. Cooperation is the path forward." Ravakar lowered his head respectfully. "I accept. I wish only to help and protect." Elira ran to him, throwing her small arms around his claw. "I'm so happy," she said. You're going to stay with us. The dragon rumbled softly, a sound like distant thunder. Yes, he said. I will stay. And I will watch over you as you trusted me. The days that followed were filled with discovery and learning. Ravakar learned about human customs, their technology, and their ways of building and creating. He helped Scout 9 in repairing machines and assisted in small construction projects, using his massive strength carefully to avoid damaging anything. Humans began to see him not as a threat, but as a protector and friend. Elira visited him every day, bringing small gifts and stories about her life in the colony. She told him about school, friends, and games, and Ravakar listened, fascinated by the simplicity and joy of human life. She laughed at his clumsy attempts to mimic human gestures, and he rumbled softly in amusement. One evening, as the twin moons rose, Ravakar stood near the edge of the colony with Elira at his side. The forest behind them was quiet, the stars shining above. I never imagined, he said softly, that humans could be kind, that trust could be given. Elira smiled up at him. Most humans are kind if you give them a chance. And you gave me a chance too. Ravakar's massive head lowered closer to her. I did not expect friendship, he admitted. But now I see, it is possible. From the distance, the colony lights glimmered, showing a world that had once been full of fear but was now full of hope. Ravakar realized that he had become a bridge between worlds, alien and human, fear and trust, solitude and companionship. He had found a place where he could belong, and in turn humans had found a protector unlike any they had imagined. Scout 9 beeped beside them. Assessment, coexistence successful. Human child safe. Alien dragon integrated. Cooperation stable. Elira laughed softly. See? Even Scout 9 agrees. Ravakar rumbled in amusement. Yes, he said quietly. Perhaps the world is better when trust is shared. As the first light of dawn filled the sky, Ravakar, Elira, and Scout 9 stood together, watching the colony awaken. The humans moved through their day no longer fearful, and the dragon felt a peace he had never known. He had been lethal, feared, and alone, but now he was trusted, appreciated, and connected. Elira tugged gently at his claw. Come on, she said. Let's explore the colony together. Ravakar smiled, well, as much as a massive alien dragon could smile, and followed her. The humans watched, curiosity and wonder in their eyes, and slowly began to accept him as one of their own. The forest behind them was no longer just shadows and danger. It was part of a larger world, one that humans and dragons could share. Ravakar had become more than a survivor. He had become a protector, a friend, and a bridge between worlds. The sun rose higher, casting warm light across the colony, the forest, and the small girl who had changed everything. And Ravakar, the alien dragon once feared and alone, finally felt at home. The story of a lost girl, a protective dragon, and a small robot had ended, but the new journey, of friendship, trust, and hope, was only beginning. The worlds were different, but together they could make them better.